Hey guys, welcome to Life and Legacy Homestead. Today we are making pizza, and this is my pizza stone. As you can tell, it is very much loved and has been used a lot. But I'm going to stick this in a cold oven. And you're gonna want to put it right in the middle. And my oven goes to, I believe it's 550 degrees. So put it up as high as you can on your oven. And then what you're going to want to do is let that preheat for at least 30 minutes. And that way you are ensuring that it is the highest that it will go. Alright, so this is the dough that I made yesterday. And so let me take you back to show you how that's made. Okay, let's make one of my favorite pizza dough recipes. Today I'm going to use bread flour. So you can use bread flour or all-purpose flour for this recipe, and I'll link the recipe below. I don't use double O flour because I think it's too expensive. It's too expensive for me, and I've used this with bread flour and all-purpose, and it's absolutely delicious. So it's 5 cups of flour. I would suggest you get a high-quality flour, such as like King Arthur, or I've used the organic flour from Costco. I do make sure that it's pretty, like there's no air like in the flour, so I tap it. So that was 3, 4, 5. From here, the recipe says to add instant dry yeast, but I always use active. It's 1.5 teaspoons of instant, but I'm just going to use 1.5 teaspoons of active dry, and then I use 1.5 teaspoon of fine sea salt. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my KitchenAid stand mixer. Use the paddle attachment, and I'm just going to mix it up. Okay, now I have 2 1/4 cups of cold water, and I'm just going to slowly drizzle it in there. Okay, so I just let the dough and the water come together, and I'm going to change to my dough hook. Now I said this is one of the pizza dough recipes that I use, because I found it's actually probably the best one. And I'm gonna let this one sit overnight in my refrigerator because it does make a huge difference in how your pizza dough comes out. But if I'm in a pinch, you can make this and use it within a couple of hours. So I'm gonna let this go for 8 minutes or so until the dough doesn't stick to the sides of the bowl. Okay, so that's been 8 minutes, and here's what the dough looks like. It wasn't sticking to the side of the bowl. Feels nice. The recipe tells you to divide it into 6 pieces, but I like to do 4. Okay, it's a pretty dough. Just gonna shape it into a round piece so I can kind of get the equal pieces. Why this one feels so small. Okay, so we got 4 equal pieces, and then I just have these plastic containers. I'm just going to put olive oil around it. Okay, take my dough, Okay, just stick it in there. Then I'm gonna drizzle my olive oil over it. Alright, drizzle over. And go ahead and make sure it's nice and coated. Now just stick the lids on top. Okay, and there's our 4 pizza doughs. And then we'll come back tomorrow and make our pizza. Let's make our pizza sauce. So I like to use San Marzano. This says San Marzano style. Whole peeled tomatoes. And I actually like the other brand, but I can't remember. I think it's like Cento or something. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. But this is the last one that I have in here. And hopefully this year I'll be able to can up my own stuff, because I am planning on planting I think like 60 tomato plants or something like that. So I like to drain it. If you don't drain it, you're gonna get a very, very liquidy sauce. Okay, and I will also, I have to find the recipe for this. I can't remember where I got it from. If not, I'm sure there's a lot of recipes like this. We need garlic cloves. The recipe says that we need 3 garlic cloves, but I love garlic, so I put in a lot. So we're gonna put in our tomato in the blender. And I use this glass bowl to show you how much liquid there is. That is 2 cups, about 2 cups of liquid. I just put that in my compost, let the worms eat it and make good soil for me. And then I got, let's see, I got 5 garlic cloves. 3 big ones, 2 medium-sized ones. It says to put in minced garlic cloves, but I found that you don't have to do that. The blender will blend it all up for you. Here's the garlic with the tomatoes. And then to it, I'm just adding extra virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoon. Half a tablespoon of fine sea salt. And this one says to use dried oregano, but I am going to use basil today, and I think I like the basil better than the oregano. Or you know what? Let's try both. It says to use 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, so I'll mix 1 teaspoon of basil, or half a teaspoon of basil and half a teaspoon of oregano. This is oregano that I grew last year and dried and minced up. Look how pretty that is. I don't know if you can see that color. It's just beautiful. And then I think this is store-bought basil, but I think I dried my own basil too. I'm gonna have to use it up. When I have fresh basil during the summer, I use fresh basil in here. But obviously it's middle of January, so I'm not gonna have fresh basil. All right, and then I'm just going to mix this up until it's a nice pizza size, or marinara, I guess, or pizza sauce. Okay, and just mix it up to the consistency that you want. I like mine with little bits of chunks, and then I found that the best place to store this is in not like a mason jar, like one of these jars, because when you go to ladle in your sauce when you're making pizza, it makes it a lot easier to get it out of here. So I do highly recommend you try to make your sauce a day ahead. I have made this sauce in a pinch, literally right before I made the pizza, because I completely forgot about it. But when you let this sit in the refrigerator for a day, a couple days, the flavors will all just marry together, and it will taste so much better. So here's our sauce, and this should make 4 pizzas, and we should have extra just for us to dip our crust in. And then we'll come back tomorrow and make our pizza. And I found that the best cheese so far that I've found is, I've used all different types of cheese, but I actually like the Walmart brand. It's whole milk. Oh my goodness, this is part skim milk. I got the wrong cheese. Okay, so what you want to do is, there's one that says whole milk mozzarella. Get the whole milk mozzarella, because that adds so much, ton more flavor than part skim. So make sure you read it correctly. Whole milk, and I think it's the red lettering. I just didn't pay attention. I am going to shred this, and I would suggest you not get pre-shredded mozzarella because it has anti-caking agents. I'm really disappointed that I got the wrong cheese. All right. I actually made 4 pizza doughs, but I'm only gonna just do one to show you guys how I do pizza. Just shred your cheese. All right. There's our cheese. And then we'll just wait for the oven to preheat and start assembling our pizza. Okay, so it has been 30 minutes since I preheated that oven to 550 degrees, which is as high as it will go. I found that there's a trick. I sometimes just put flour on my, whatever this is called, I can't remember the name of it. When I first started making pizza, I saw a hack online, and you just take parchment paper and you put it, you make your pizza dough, or you shape it, and then stick it in the oven just for a couple minutes after you make the pizza, and then pull it out, and then it will keep it from sticking on this and making a whole mess. So that's what I'm gonna do today. Again, I said I do that sometimes, I don't do it all the time, but I'm gonna show you the really easy method of it. Here's my dough. Alright, just gonna get my hands just a little bit. Okay, so just go around. This dough came out really sticky, so I'm glad I used the parchment. I've actually let this dough sit out for about, oh my, I think 2 hours. I think I was actually supposed to put a little bit of flour on the parchment, but it's all right. Just go ahead and shape it to the best circle as you can. Looks more like an amoeba, but really in the end, it's the taste that matters, right? What I like to do is, I like to get extra virgin olive oil and just put it on the edge. And then kind of like to drizzle it on too. And then here's my pizza sauce. We're just gonna make just a simple cheese pizza. So just spread your sauce out. And then I actually had some Parmesan, fresh Parmesan cheese that I saw in there, so I went ahead and mixed it with some of my cheese that I shredded earlier. Put some more olive oil. I love the way olive oil tastes on pizza. So we'll go ahead and slide it onto the pizza stone. Just gonna set a timer for 2 minutes to remove the parchment paper. Okay, it's been 2 minutes. Just gonna go ahead and slide it off. And then I'll just let that go for about another, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. Sometimes I like to put it on broil to get the crust a little more color, but I think I don't have to do it this time around. Okay, so that's the 5-minute mark. Right. I'm gonna pull that out and I'm gonna take a peek on the bottom to see what the crust looks like. Oh gosh, that looks beautiful. All right. So do you see that? Look at this crust. It's gorgeous. That crust is just, it's amazing. All right. The only way to eat pizza is piping hot. I mean, there's no other way. However, I did find if you wait maybe a minute, the cheese won't just slide right off when you're cutting it. All right, it's been long enough. It hasn't even been a minute, but I'm gonna cut into it. So you hear that? I'll just. I was just gonna do one slice, but I actually want that really crusty corner. And no, this is not how I usually slice it. Alright, let's see. This is a pretty slice right here. Alright, look at that. Okay. Don't mind my background back here. Dishes, they're clean. So look at this pizza crust, or look at that crust on the bottom. That's exactly what you want. You know how I use that 2% skim milk, I think? It's still really good. I still want to buy the whole milk one just because I think I have it in my brain that it tastes better. That is delicious. I love that it did have oregano and have basil in the sauce that I made. I think that's a really good flavor. This crust is completely just amazing. So make your pizza at home. Follow the recipe that I'm gonna link to you below. And go eat a ton of pizza. This thing, it's better than any Papa John's, Domino's, and I don't even like those pizzas anyways. Better than anything that you can get at a store, unless you go to a really nice pizza joint. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.